Liam Blackwood, CEO of Blackwood Enterprises, is one of the most powerful names in the business world. At 34, he has achieved everything many dream of: a billion-dollar company, a reputation admired by all, and a luxurious penthouse offering a breathtaking view of the city. However, behind the glitz and glamour, Liam is a lonely man. The expansive penthouse he returns to every day is eerily silent and cold. No laughter, no one waiting for him, just him and the vast emptiness. Liam's past left a deep wound in his heart, a wound that even success couldn't heal. At 28, Liam married Evelyn, a woman he once believed to be the love of his life. To the public, they were the perfect couple, a brilliant businessman and a renowned fashion designer. But just 2 years later, their marriage fell apart when Liam discovered Evelyn was having an affair with one of his closest colleagues. What hurt him even more than the betrayal was Evelyn's bitter confession during their final conversation. "You can never truly love, Liam. All you care about is your work and your success." Those words cut deep into Liam's pride. From that moment on, he lost faith in love and marriage. He buried himself in work, building the Blackwood Enterprises empire to prove that he needed no one to succeed. 6 years after his divorce, Liam still lived alone. But one thought haunted him. He wanted a child, not to salvage his life, but because he longed for something truly his own, something no one could take away from him. One morning, Liam walked into an upscale medical clinic for his routine health checkup, a regular part of his yearly schedule. He assumed it would be a straightforward procedure. However, this time, the doctor entered the room with a hesitant look, holding a test result. "Mr. Blackwood," the doctor began, his tone gentle but serious, "the results show that you have a fertility issue. Your sperm count and quality are significantly declining, and if you want to have a child, I recommend taking action now. The longer you wait, the harder it will become." Liam sat frozen, his hands clasped tightly. He didn't respond immediately, his gaze fixed on the floor as he tried to process the information. After a long silence, he finally asked, his voice hoarse, "Is there no other way?" The doctor shook his head. "There may be assisted reproductive options, but time is of the essence. If having a child is truly important to you, this is the best time to consider it." The news was not just a shock, but ignited a desire in Liam stronger than ever before. For years, the thought of having a child had been the sole light in his lonely heart. A child carrying his bloodline, a part of himself, was the only thing that could bring true meaning to his life. But Liam also knew he couldn't revisit old paths. Marriage had become a closed door for him. He didn't want to risk entering a relationship where betrayal could shatter him again. Determined to fulfill his dream, Liam began searching for a surrogate. He wanted someone trustworthy, not for fame or money, but someone who truly understood the enormous responsibility. Liam hired a team of lawyers and specialists to help him find a suitable candidate. A long list of profiles was delivered to his desk, but he crossed off one name after another. One woman on the list, a former reality TV actress, approached him solely for the lucrative compensation. Another revealed, even before meeting Liam, that she planned to sell their story to the media. The thought of his child being turned into a tool for profit repulsed him. Frustration grew as Liam wondered if anyone could meet his standards. Someone strong, genuine, and capable of understanding the gravity of the situation. "We need someone who truly cares about the meaning of this, not just the money," Liam told one of his lawyers. "I don't want my child to be the product of a soulless transaction." Welcome to Soul Stories. Today we bring you a heartwarming tale. Let us know which city you're tuning in from around the world. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to catch more meaningful stories. In another part of the city, Clara Davis was struggling to survive in harsh circumstances. A year earlier, she had a stable job at a small company, but when the company went bankrupt, her life crumbled. Shortly after, her mother passed away, and with her mother's death, Clara lost the only home they had. Now Clara lived temporarily in a shelter for the homeless. However, she refused to let her circumstances overwhelm her. With optimism and resilience, Clara took on temporary jobs to make ends meet, from working as a cafe server to selling goods on the streets. Despite her difficulties, Clara remained kind-hearted. One afternoon, while walking back to the shelter, she noticed a lost boy standing on the edge of a crowded street, crying. Clara immediately approached him, kneeling down gently. "Hey there, little one. It's okay. I'll help you find your parents, all right?" With patience and skill, Clara quickly took the boy to the police station, where they were able to reunite him with his parents. When they embraced, Clara felt a small but genuine sense of joy, like a ray of light breaking through her dark days. A fateful encounter. Liam happened to be on that street and witnessed everything from a distance. The sight of Clara crouching to help the child, her gentle smile as she spoke to him, captivated Liam. A few minutes later, as Clara exited the police station, Liam approached her, calm but commanding in his presence. "You did a very good thing," Liam began. "Not everyone would take the time to help a lost child." Clara glanced at the stranger in front of her, slightly wary. "It's nothing. Anyone would have done the same." "Not everyone," Liam replied, his gaze curious. After a brief exchange, Liam asked directly, "You're struggling, aren't you? I have a proposal. You could change your life." Clara frowned, stepping back slightly. "Who are you, and why do you think you have the right to ask about my life?" Liam didn't answer immediately. Instead, he handed her his business card and said, "I'm Liam Blackwood. If you truly want to change your circumstances, come see me tomorrow. I have a serious offer." Clara looked at the card, her face showing a mix of skepticism and curiosity. The offer that could change everything. The next day, after a restless night of contemplation, Clara decided to visit Liam at his office. She stepped into a luxurious building, a world far removed from the one she knew. When they met, Liam didn't mince words. He got straight to the point. "I want you to carry my child. I'll pay you a sum of money large enough to change your life. All medical and living expenses will be covered throughout the process. You'll leave once the baby's born." Clara froze, stunned by what she had just heard. She stood up, ready to walk out immediately. "Who do you think I am? I'm not something you can buy." Liam, calm and composed as ever, replied, "This isn't an unethical transaction. This is an opportunity for you to rebuild your life and for me to achieve the one thing I desire most, a child. I'm not forcing you, but I believe we can help each other." Clara was silent, leaving the office with a troubled heart, unsure whether she should even consider the proposal. In the days that followed, Clara couldn't stop thinking about Liam's offer. The money he promised wasn't just enough to get her out of homelessness. It could help her completely rebuild her life. Finally, Clara returned to see Liam and said, "I'll agree, but I have one condition. Everything must be clear. This is just a contract. I won't allow myself to be taken advantage of or treated like a commodity." Liam nodded, his expression respectful. "I understand. I promise you'll be treated fairly and with respect throughout the process." The contract was signed, and from that moment, Clara stepped into a completely different life, one she never imagined would transform her forever. After the contract was finalized, Liam arranged for Clara to move into one of his luxury apartments. The space was modern and elegant, complete with amenities Clara had never dreamed of experiencing. Liam ensured she would receive the best care, a private chef to prepare nutritious meals, top doctors for regular checkups throughout the pregnancy, and a team ready to cater to her every need. Yet everything remained within the boundaries of their agreement. "Everything you need has been arranged. Just fulfill your role," Liam said as he showed Clara around the apartment. "I understand," Clara replied curtly, her gaze sweeping over the opulent surroundings. Though she was now in a completely different environment, Clara felt out of place. The luxury only emphasized the gap between her and Liam. He, a man of power and wealth, she, a woman struggling to survive. In her first few days at the apartment, Clara felt like an outsider. She tried to adapt to the elaborate meals and regular medical checkups, but the constant presence of assistants and staff suffocated her. One day when Liam visited to check on her progress, Clara didn't hold back her thoughts. "I'm not used to people doing everything for me. If I want to eat, I can cook for myself. If I need something, I'll get it. There's no need for a small army to wait on me." Liam raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised by her bluntness. "I just want to ensure you and the baby are well cared for." "Being cared for doesn't mean being smothered. I need to feel like I'm still in control of my own life." It was the first time Liam realized Clara was unlike any woman he had ever met. Over time, Clara began to show her independence and determination. Despite living in a vastly different world, she never forgot who she was. During one medical checkup, the doctor suggested supplemental methods to improve her health. When Liam proposed hiring additional nutritionists, Clara smiled politely and said, "I know you're worried about the baby, but no one understands my body better than I do. I'll take care of myself in the way I think is best." Liam started spending more time talking to Clara. He realized that, despite her lack of wealth or status, she possessed a sharp intelligence and wit he rarely encountered. "You're not afraid of anything, are you?" Liam asked one evening as they shared dinner. "I've lost everything. When you have nothing left to lose, you learn to face fear," Clara replied, her gaze steady. Liam, a man accustomed to control and authority, began to see his world differently through Clara. Her honesty and straightforwardness made him question values he had taken for granted. One day, while working remotely from Clara's apartment, Liam received a tense call from his board of directors. After the call ended, Clara, who had been quietly reading on the sofa, raised an eyebrow. "You never stop, do you? Even in the most beautiful room, your mind is still consumed by work." Liam smirked faintly. "Work is everything to me." Clara put down her book, leaning forward slightly. "Work is important, but if it's everything, you'll miss out on so much. When you're gone, what will people remember you for? A man who made billions, or someone who made others smile?" Her words silenced Liam. For the first time, someone challenged his life choices without fear of offending him. Although the contract prohibited any emotional attachments, Liam and Clara gradually grew closer. Liam began visiting her more frequently, not just to check on the baby, but to enjoy the rare moments of ease he found in her presence. One evening, while watching an old movie Clara loved, Liam asked, "If you could change one thing about your life, what would it be?" Clara thought for a moment before replying, "I don't think I'd change anything. Everything that's happened, good or bad, brought me to this point. I've learned to accept it and try to live better every day." Liam looked at her, feeling a sense of peace and strength in her answer. He began to realize Clara wasn't just a surrogate. She was helping him rediscover things he didn't know he'd lost: connection and the true meaning of life. One day, Clara was tending to plants on the small balcony of the apartment. Liam arrived and noticed her focused on the small pots, her face serene. "Why do you enjoy this?" he asked. "Because it brings me joy to see something grow under my care. It's like a reminder that, no matter how hard life gets, it always continues," Clara replied. Liam didn't respond, but inside he felt as though he too was changing, little by little, because of Clara. Liam began spending more time doing things he'd never considered before: cooking with Clara, reading books, or simply talking about the little things in life. For the first time in years, Liam felt genuinely happy, not because of money or power, but because of Clara's presence in his life. The hospital room was bathed in soft light, the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor filling the air. Clara lay exhausted on the birthing bed, having just endured a grueling labor. Despite her fatigue, a radiant smile spread across her face as she heard the first cries of her newborn. A nurse gently swaddled the baby in a soft blanket and placed him into Clara's arms. "Hello, Oliver," Clara whispered, her eyes glowing as she gazed at the child. Standing nearby, Liam felt his heart stir as he witnessed this sacred moment. When the baby was handed to him, Liam could hardly believe he was holding a piece of himself. Trembling, he placed a kiss on the baby's forehead and spoke in a deep, tender voice. "Hello, my son." Looking at Oliver, Liam felt a sense of wholeness he had never known before. Oliver wasn't just a child, he was a chance for Liam to have a family, a gift Liam thought he had lost forever. A week after Clara was discharged from the hospital, Liam began working on the legal paperwork to secure custody of Oliver. A key step in the process was a DNA test to formalize the child's paternity. Confident that Oliver was his biological son, Liam submitted the sample without hesitation. But a few days later, when the results arrived, his world came crashing down. The DNA test revealed that Oliver was not Liam's biological son. Holding the report in his hands, Liam felt as though everything inside him was being torn apart. He immediately contacted the clinic for an explanation. After numerous tense calls and investigations, Liam discovered that the embryo used in the artificial insemination process had been mistakenly switched. Oliver did not carry Liam's genetic material. Instead, the child was biologically tied to an anonymous sperm donor. Liam returned to Clara's apartment with an air of fury. Clara, who was breastfeeding Oliver, immediately sensed something was wrong as he entered. "What's the matter?" she asked, setting the baby down in his crib. Liam threw the DNA test results onto the table, his voice low but seething with anger. "You knew about this, didn't you? You knew Oliver wasn't mine, but you went along with it anyway." Clara froze in shock. She picked up the report, scanning the document, her expression shifting to confusion. "I didn't know anything about this, Liam. How could I have known?" Unable to contain his emotions, Liam shouted, "Then why? Why did this happen? You were the one carrying the baby. You should have known." Clara straightened up, her gaze resolute. "I didn't know. I trusted the process you and the doctors arranged. I'm a victim in this too, Liam." The argument dragged on, with Liam feeling betrayed not only by the clinic, but also by the circumstances he couldn't control. The following days were tense between Liam and Clara. Liam spent time with Oliver, but Clara could see he was struggling with the revelation. Though Liam loved Oliver, the shock of discovering the child wasn't biologically his loomed as a significant barrier. One evening, after a long day at work, Liam returned home to find Clara waiting for him. Her bags were packed, and Oliver was peacefully asleep in his stroller beside her. "I think it's time for me and Oliver to leave," Clara said, her voice calm but firm. Liam froze. "What are you saying? You can't leave. Oliver is our son." Clara shook her head, tears welling up, but her tone unwavering. "Oliver isn't your son, Liam. I know you're trying, but you can't get past this. I won't let Oliver grow up feeling like he's a mistake or a burden you have to bear." Liam stepped closer, his voice pleading. "Clara, you can't do this. I love Oliver, and I don't want to lose you." Clara took his hand, her eyes filled with pain. "Liam, you love Oliver, but your love is still overshadowed by what you think you've lost. Oliver isn't a commodity or a mistake for you to define. I'll take care of him. Even though he's not biologically mine either, I'm the one who brought him into this world." Liam felt as though everything was slipping away from him. He stepped forward, his voice firm. "Clara, you can't take Oliver. I don't care about the DNA results. He's my son, and he's our family." Clara looked directly into his eyes, tears streaming, but her voice steady. "You only see what you've lost, Liam, but I see everything Oliver needs. A real family isn't built on contracts or DNA. It's built on love and dedication. I can't stay and let Oliver be caught in the middle of our pain." Liam stood frozen. He wanted to argue, but the words stuck in his throat. Deep down, he knew Clara was right. The next morning when Liam woke, the apartment was empty. Clara and Oliver were gone. On the kitchen table, she left a letter. "Liam, thank you for giving me the chance to change my life. But Oliver needs an environment where he can grow up surrounded by love and peace. If one day you're ready to see that a family isn't just about biology, come find us. I hope you discover the true meaning of love. Clara." Liam sat down in a chair, clutching the letter tightly. His heart felt like it was being squeezed. For the first time in his life, he felt he had lost everything. Not money or power, but the most important things, Clara and Oliver. Are you still following the story? If yes, comment "lovely." Ha 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 ha. Liam's luxurious apartment, once a symbol of his success, now felt emptier and colder than ever. Clara and Oliver had left, taking with them the only things that gave his life meaning. Each morning as Liam walked through the living room, he felt as though he were traversing a vast void. The crib he had carefully chosen for Oliver now stood silent, a painful reminder of his loss. Days passed, and Liam spent them in deep reflection. He realized that the love he felt for Oliver wasn't tied to the boy being his biological son. The moments he had cared for Oliver, seen his smiles, and felt his presence had created a bond that no DNA test could break. More importantly, Liam came to terms with his feelings for Clara. He missed her wit, her straightforwardness, and the way she lit up every room she entered. One evening, standing by the large window of his apartment, the city lights glittering outside, Liam whispered to himself, "I was wrong, Clara. I can't let you and Oliver go like this." Determined to make things right, Liam began searching for Clara. He hired a team of private investigators, but the search proved challenging. Clara had stopped using her bank cards and left no clear trail. She was determined to cut ties and build a life for herself and Oliver, far away from Liam. Weeks passed, and Liam's patience began to wear thin. Then one morning he received a call from one of the investigators. "We've located Clara. She's living in a small town on the outskirts and working at a homeless shelter." Liam packed his bags immediately. His heart pounded as he thought about seeing Clara and Oliver again. He knew this was not just an opportunity to apologize, but his only chance to prove he could change. When Liam arrived at the shelter, he saw Clara busy helping an elderly woman. She wore a simple coat, her hair neatly tied back, her face showing signs of exhaustion, but also radiating the peace he had always admired in her. Nearby, Oliver was asleep in a small stroller. Just the sight of the child made Liam's chest tighten with emotion. Clara glanced up and saw Liam. She froze, her eyes widening in surprise before quickly regaining her composure. Walking toward him, her voice was cold. "What are you doing here?" Liam, standing before her, tried to remain calm. "I came to bring you and Oliver home." Clara let out a short, bitter laugh. "Home? Liam, do you remember we never had a home? All we had was a contract and empty promises." Liam fell silent for a moment, then spoke, his voice deep and sincere. "Clara, I was wrong. Wrong to think a father's love depended on biology. Oliver doesn't need to be my biological son for me to love him. He is my family, and so are you." Clara stood still, her eyes studying Liam. She wasn't sure if she could trust his words. Liam stepped closer, his eyes filled with regret. "I used to think my life was all about work and success, but you and Oliver showed me that happiness doesn't come from that. I can't lose you both. Please give me a chance to make things right." Clara shook her head, her eyes glistening with tears. "Liam, I can't bring Oliver back to a place where love doesn't truly exist. I can't risk my son being hurt." Liam took her hands, his voice trembling. "Clara, I don't want to hurt anyone. I want to build a family, not because of a contract or obligation, but because I love you and Oliver. Let me prove it to you." Clara gazed deeply into Liam's eyes, searching for signs of change. What she saw wasn't the cold, calculating man she had met, but someone willing to give up everything to have a family. She sighed and nodded slightly. "I'll give you a chance, Liam, but only if you can show me that we're truly a family. Not because you need a child, but because you genuinely love me and Oliver." Liam smiled, feeling relief for the first time in weeks. Looking into Clara's eyes, then glancing at Oliver still asleep, he said, "Thank you. I won't let you down." In the days that followed, Liam stayed in the small town to spend time with Clara and Oliver. He joined Clara in her work at the shelter, helping the homeless and learning to live a simpler, more meaningful life. One afternoon, while Liam was playing with Oliver in the park, Clara sat beside him and said, "I didn't think you could adapt to this life, but you've surprised me." Liam chuckled softly. "I spent too much time chasing the wrong things. Thank you for not giving up on me completely." Clara smiled, and for the first time, she felt they might truly have a chance to build a family. One evening in their small-town home, Clara was reading on the sofa, while Oliver slept peacefully in his crib. Liam entered the room looking slightly uneasy, holding a small box in his hand. "Clara, can you put the book down for a moment?" Liam said, his voice tinged with nervousness. Clara glanced up and saw the serious expression on Liam's face. "What is it? You don't seem like yourself today." Liam knelt in front of her, opening the small box to reveal a simple yet elegant ring. Taking her hand, his voice filled with emotion. "Clara, I've made so many mistakes, but this time, I want to do it right. I love you, not just because you're Oliver's mother, but because you've changed my life. You've shown me what a true family is. Please marry me and let me be the husband and father you and Oliver deserve." Clara looked at him, tears welling in her eyes. She was silent for a moment, then smiled softly and nodded. "Yes, Liam, I'll marry you." They had a small wedding in the backyard, where Oliver could run freely. Clara's close friends and Liam's former colleagues attended, creating a warm and intimate atmosphere. Clara wore a simple wedding dress, her radiant smile lighting up her face. Standing before her, Liam looked into her eyes, his gaze full of sincerity. Clara, I promise to always love and cherish you and to build the family you've always dreamed of. I'll never let you face anything alone again. Clara responded, her eyes brimming with love. Liam, I promise to always stand by you, not for what you have, but because you've shown me that true love comes from change and effort on both sides. As they exchanged rings, Oliver clapped his hands and giggled, making everyone laugh along with him. A few months after the wedding, Clara began to notice familiar signs, fatigue and changes in her appetite. When she told Liam she was pregnant, his eyes widened in shock before he pulled her into a tight embrace. Clara, you've just made me the happiest man in the world, Liam said, his eyes sparkling with joy. Clara smiled, taking his hand in hers. I think you'll need to prepare for fatherhood again, but this time we'll do it as a real family. As Clara's pregnancy progressed, Liam decided to step back from his work at Blackwood Enterprises, delegating responsibilities to a trusted management team. He wanted to spend more time with his family, something he had never prioritized before. Meanwhile, Clara continued her work at the homeless shelter, turning it into a true haven for those in need. With Liam's financial support, the shelter grew and became a beacon of hope for many. One quiet afternoon, the family sat in their backyard garden. Oliver, now nearly 2 years old, ran around happily while Liam sat on a bench, holding the boy in his arms. Clara, pregnant with their daughter Grace, sat beside him, smiling gently as she watched her husband and son. Liam turned to Clara, his eyes filled with love. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I made so many mistakes. You and our children mean everything to me. Clara smiled back, placing a hand on her growing belly. And you've proven that a family doesn't need to start with blood. It starts with love. As the sun set, the family sat together, enjoying the peace and happiness they had found. Oliver laughed as Liam pretended to play hide and seek, while Clara gently rested her hand on her belly, feeling the life growing within her. They had overcome so much, pain, loss, and mistakes, to find what truly mattered, a family built on love, forgiveness, and patience. In that moment, Liam realized he hadn't just found a family, he had found himself. Life often forces us to face loss and mistakes, but it's through those struggles that we learn the true meaning of love and connection. Happiness doesn't come from fame or fortune, but from the genuine relationships we build through trust, forgiveness, and effort. A real family isn't defined by biology, but by love and dedication to one another. Sometimes to find happiness, we must let go of past pain and open our hearts to others. Thank you for following this story. Please rate it from 1 to 5 stars, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Soul Stories channel. Your support is the motivation for us to continue bringing more great stories. Haha.